Dana White Contender Series 2024, Week 3. We're going to break down every fight. Let's get into it. Jim's not with me today. He was on vacation all weekend. He hasn't had a chance to look up any of the fights, so he said just rip it without him. All right, let's take a look. Start off with Jack Duffy and Nick Piccininni. So Duffy's 7-0. The first red flag I have about him is he's coming from Uriah Faber's A1 combat. This has been a strategy of ours to fade these guys. Peyton Talbot comes out of there, looks great, and then they put more guys from Uriah Faber's league, and they have not done well. I think they're 0-2 this season, and we faded them both times. I just don't think the competition is that good over there. So Jack Duffy kind of took a pretty big break here. Between 2019 2023, pretty good win here, and gets the decision win against Devin Jackson. I think he's gonna want to try and get this on the ground. I don't think his striking is that good. I think Nick Piccininni's striking is actually much better, and Nick is only 6-0. He's got some submissions. And I think he's going to have success everywhere. I think he's going to have the advantage on the ground and on the feet. When I look at the two guys striking, I go, Piccininni's striking scares me a little bit more than Duffy's. So my lean here is Piccininni probably. I did watch Face Off today. Duffy tried to mean mug him, and Piccininni wasn't having it. Like, Piccininni was not intimidated in the slightest. So I think the official pick is going to be Piccininni. Piccinini's the big favorite here. So I understand that the juice is pretty high, but it's moving towards Piccininni. So a lot of other people like him as well. He's going to be the pick. He's got submissions. I think if I had to pick a method, I think it's got to be knockout. Here's the other thing. These guys have to know you got to get finishes. Like we saw it last week with Imperato. Like, just absolutely clueless. Why would you even go on Contender Series and not, like, just be going all out for a knockout or a submission? Just going on there and trying to win just doesn't get it done anymore. So surely these guys this week have to know, like, got to get finishes. So, all right, so there's that fight. All right, let's take a look at Malcom, Wellmaker, and Adam Bramhald. Both these guys have holes in their game. So if I got a fight where I got one guy who's, an underdog and both guys I can poke holes in, the value play is on Bramhald. But what do I always say about value plays? Value plays mean you just feel better when they lose. I got good value. No, you lost. So I wouldn't jump right in and say Bramhald is absolutely the play. I got some questions about him. This is a guy that's fought someone that's 19-27. He's fought a guy that's 0-18. His last couple wins were against, guys who at least have a pulse. My problem with Bramhald is he just doesn't look that powerful or strong. Like, if he gets in the clinch, I just don't think Bramhald is gonna win the clinch. Now, he does kind of have a Muay Thai type of style. He is gonna throw kicks. I think that's gonna be his most powerful weapon tonight, and his most effective weapon tonight is gonna be his kicks. I would say you want to soften up those legs and then set everything up. I thought he looked a little weak at face-offs and weigh-ins. I was like, ooh, man, he is pretty skinny. I don't know if it was just the weight cut, but I would say he did not look that physical at the face-off. So if he lands the leg kicks, that could set up some other things. I'm just not sure he's got a ton of upside. So that's why he's the underdog. I will tell you, I listen, sometimes I can make bets just by looking at how they walk out to the ring or at face-offs or everything. I thought Wellmaker looked really good at the face-offs. But again, here we are with Malcom Wellmaker, who's, kind of fought, not great people. I will say he has a ton of amateur fights. So he has plenty of cage time. So his striking is pretty good. If he's going to win and get a contract, it's going to have to be by knockout. He's got a couple knockouts here. My problem with Wellmaker is I've seen him get controlled in the clinch. And I don't think Bramhald's going to be able to do that. But if Wellmaker can't break the clinch from Bramhald, it's going to be a long night for him. Because I do think Bramhald's going to be able to land the leg kicks. And if Bramhald does push him up, I'm not sure he's going to be strong enough to keep Wellmaker there. But Wellmaker hasn't shown the great ability to break and create distance, which I think he's going to. That being said, I think Wellmaker could absolutely steamroll Bramhald if he wants. If he wants to try and just rush him right out of the gate and put a big pace on him in the first round, I think he can, and that would be my best bet, or that would be my best piece of advice to him. That being said, there's no way you can bet your hard-earned money on this one. This is a pass, and this is kind of a tough card here. So, Wellmaker and Bramhald, I will not have any money on it. None of my hard-earned money. So, up next, Marco Tulio and Duclos. So here's something you got to know about Marco Tulio. So he fought in Contender Series last season, and I went back and watched this fight. I thought it was a good fight. I thought he and Bulgari really put on a good performance. And Tulio gets the win, showed good striking, showed good cardio. In the third round, he gets a big takedown, rides it out, gets the win, but he doesn't get the contract. So I went back and I watched that episode, and I was like, what was going on there? That was the episode Carlos Prates and Oki fought, and they obliterated their opponents. I mean, obliterated. Put on amazing performances. And Dana did not seem to be in a good mood that night. What was it? Timmy Kwamba, I don't think, got a contract that night. Tulio didn't get a contract that night. But when you watch Prates do what he did, you watch Oki do what he did, it's like, the rest of these guys aren't that impressive. So I think they kind of look back and they go, we might have made a little bit of mistake on Tulio, like not giving him a contract that night. So what does Tulio do? He goes to LFA and has a really, really good performance against against Simi DeSantos. So really, really good striking. I thought he looked great at face-offs today. And this Duclos guy, I am just not a believer in at all. He's 6-2. He has this really weird match. The ref kind of screwed it up. They get like a minute 18 in there, and Fontes is like, I got poked in the eye, and the ref thought the guy, like, he was tapping, so the ref just calls it. The ref just kind of like screwed it up. And just look at some of these guys. He fought 3-1 over in Hexagon, 2-2. I'm not that impressed with him. This is just a massive, massive step up in competition. I don't think his striking is going to scare Tulio at all. I don't think his takedowns are going to scare Tulio at all. To me, this feels like a nice setup for Tulio. Let's hope he doesn't Torres Finiat and put on a terrible performance and not get the contract and, get Dana being like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I think Tulio gets the knockout. It's pretty juicy on Tulio, so if you want to take Tulio by finish, I wouldn't blame you at all. So if you guys could do me a favor real quick, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm out, helps us out. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me if you love the picks, hate the picks. And we always like to share what Winning in the Shadows is. We are there's three of us doing, actually there's four of us doing bets. Myself, Jim, Corbin, and Dan. We treat this like a investment stock portfolio, and we build up smaller bankrolls. We build them up to bigger ones. We always like to show full transparency on our picks. So like last week, we were 5-2 on all of our picks, plus 12.6 units. And so far this year, we are up an incredible 138.4 units. Look at that. So we are just absolutely crushing it this year. If you want to join the Discord channel, a lot of great free discussion in there. We got some free plays. We've also got a nice little surprise that I will be unveiling Monday night on the 26th here. And Monday, if you're watching this on Monday, it's a $5 day over at Wager Talk. That's where all of our official plays is. We do have our official Dana White Contender Series play that's up. We always come out with it Monday afternoon. Having to work out great. That today it's only $5. We're on a 12-4 MMA run, so please take advantage of that. And again, if you're not on board these plays, I think we're 56 weeks. 56 weeks ago, we've tripled our bankroll. So I'm very, very proud of what we're doing here. So if you got any questions, leave it in the comment section. Reach out to me, but join that Discord. That's going to be your first step, and then we'll get you on track to build that bankroll up. Michael Aswell and Bogdan Grad. So Bogdan Grad, here's another guy that he got obliterated by Tom Nolan on Contender Series. He goes out, he wins 2 fights in a row. He looks good. He's added muscle. I'll leave it at that. And he's facing Michael Aswell. I'm going to start with Bogdan Grad. Here's my big problem with him is he accepts position. He got knocked down by Tom Nolan, laid on his back, ends up getting knocked out. He ended up on his back to start both of these fights. And he just kind of accepts position. Like, he got the guillotine. It was a nice guillotine, but it's because he got, ended up on his back. And it's the same thing here. He comes out in the second round and gets the knee, but he got taken down early. And he just kind of feels like he just kind of accepts those positions. He's not going to be able to do that tonight against Michael Aswell. He will lose again on Contender Series if he does that. His offense, Bogdan Grad's offense is good, but he's got to fight that position. He can't just be on his back foot or on his actual back every single time. So Michael Aswell. So I think this is a fun fight. I'm going to ever so slightly give the edge to Bogdan Grad, but I am not going to be betting this with my own money here. Good power, knocked out a couple decent fighters here in Fury FC. He's got a good amount of amateur fights. I think this might just be a little bit too much. Bogdan Grad's been there, done that on Contender Series, and he's had 2 fights since then. I like Aswell's striking. My worry with him is if he doesn't push the pace. We've seen him push the pace, but then we've seen him not push the pace. And if he falls into this thing where he doesn't push Bogdan Grad forward, he's going to be on his back foot. Bogdan Grad's going to dominate him. This fight, to me, all comes down to who is pushing forward and who's pushing each guy back. Because I got to tell you, both guys can be pushed back. It's just who's the alpha in this one. Because whoever pushes their offense and forces their offense upon the other one, I just think the other guy's going to let them, do what they want. So I'm going to lean Bogdan Grad learned his lesson and isn't going to end up getting taken down or on his back. And I think he pushes a pretty good pace to start off with. I think it's just going to be too much for Aswell. I will say, these guys have decent amount of stoppages. These guys are pretty tough, man. They've got some decent power and they've got finishing ability. This is a sneaky one that could go the distance. I think both these guys are good enough to kind of cancel each other out at times. Ever so slightly into Grad, not betting it, but I will be interested in the prop on this one to go the distance. Main event, Pulyaev and Anderson. I am not sold on Anderson. And if you're looking for an underdog, kind of a bigger upset, I think you could do worse in this one. So Anderson, he seems like he's got a pretty decent amount of hype. He's coming out of LFA. And while he has 2 finishes, he's got some big holes in his striking defense. He's gotten wobbled, especially against Jay Manning, who, isn't that great. But he got really wobbled. Now, Anderson does have good punches. He's got good kicks. We saw a really nice head kick knockout. However, Maurice Morris had his hands like way down, like he fell for a feint, and it was like you could have painted a target on Morris's head. So give Anderson credit. Excuse me, but he's getting these finishes, and I actually think this Pulyaev is going to be a little bit of a surprise. Anderson is only 6-2, and from what I watched in his last 2, this is probably Pulyaev is going to be the best guy that he's faced. So Pulyaev comes from these Shlemenko, you cannot find a whole lot of film on him. So here's what I know. He does have good power. It's kind of hard to tell how good these guys are that he has knocked out. He's got good cardio. So if this gets into the third round, he's going to be right there with Anderson. I don't know if he's faced anybody who can strike like Anderson. That could be the big problem for Pulyaev, is if he just hasn't been hit like somebody like Anderson. But again, I just don't know these guys. He had a pretty horrible record in amateur, but he seems to have righted the ship. So Pulyaev, because we don't know a whole lot about him, it could be one of those things where he comes out and he's working the jab, and all of a sudden he's a little faster than Anderson, and Anderson gets popped because his striking defense isn't going to be good. I don't think all the favorites win tonight. So if you're trying to pick who's going to be an upset, I'm just not sold on Anderson, not at all. So I'm probably not going to bet this one with my own money, but I do think I think you might be a little worried if you're putting Anderson in parlays or betting him, to win by finish or whatever, because this Pulyaev, and what I have seen, he's pretty tough. He does have good striking. Stance looks really good. I thought he looked pretty decent at weigh-ins, so not really sure this is going to be an Anderson walkover as the odds are kind of suggesting. So I'll go out on a limb and pick Pulyaev in that one. So Duffy and Piccininni, I think Piccininni gets the win, probably a finish, probably gets a contract. Wellmaker and Bramhald, I have no idea. I'm staying away from that one. Tulio and Duclos, I'm going to go Tulio by finish, and he gets a contract. As well in Grad, I think these guys are going to put on a hell of a fight, and I think the winner, even if it goes to decision, I think the winner is going to get a contract. Ever so slightly to Grad. But don't be surprised if this is a really, really good fight that goes a distance. And then Pulyaev, maybe we'll give him a little sprinkle on this one. It is interesting that Pulyaev is only 26. So when we look at Pulyaev, he's kind of just now getting into his prime. This guy had his first amateur fight like 8 years ago. This guy was a teenager. So he's kind of growing into his own. I think this might be a nice spot for him. So, all right, that's going to do it. Thanks, guys, so much. Don't forget the $5 play is up at wagertalk.com. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do that now. Leave me a comment. Good luck on your place. We'll see you everyone later.